He said, pray as you see me pray. Utter these words that you hear me say. Based on the Sunnah, worship Him, just follow them.
Assalamu alaikum. New class coming to you every Monday and Wednesdays, taught by Ustad Layla Nashiba, the fiqh of prayer. Every Monday and Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Inshallah, we'll see you there. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers.
Our class on the prayer, and for this class, alhamdulillah, we've been discussing the etiquettes of the mosque, the etiquettes of the masjid. The last time we met for this class, is it an obligation or is it a sunnah to enter the mosque with your right foot and to leave the mosque with your left foot? Is that an obligation or is it a sunnah? Who can answer that? Anyone?
It's a sunnah.
Good job. It's a sunnah to enter the mosque with your right foot, and when you leave, to leave with your left foot. So that doesn't mean because you brothers forgot to enter with the right foot that you going to hell. I don't want y'all knocking y'all self out over that. You ain't going to hell because you didn't enter with the right foot. Okay, but it's a highly recommended sunnah. Also, is it haram to burn perfume and incense inside the mosque? Is it haram to burn perfume or incense inside the mosque?
No.
Okay, is this something that's recommended?
It's a sunnah, I believe.
Yeah, that's what recommended means. Yeah, and why? Why is it recommended that we keep the mosque clean and sweet smell? Why is that something that the Prophet recommended, that we keep the mosque smelling good and clean? It's not really hard to figure out why. Why is it that it's something that our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam encouraged us to do? Can anyone remember?
It's common sense. You don't want it stinking.
Yeah, but why come you don't want it smelling bad? Why is cleanliness and go ahead.
Cleanliness is next to godliness and the jinns and stuff like stinky stuff.
Exactly.
I love clean things.
And also it attracts the angels. That's why we keep the mosque smelling good and we keep the mosque clean, just like you keep your house smelling good. I got incense burning in my house now. I got Palo Santo. Oh, I love Palo Santo. Oh, and I ordered this off of Amazon. It smells so good. I thought oud was my favorite smell. Well, Palo Santo. Oh my God, it's beautiful. You know, the angels.
Send that to me, girl. Send that to me.
Okay, yeah. The angels are attracted to cleanliness and they're attracted to good smells. Just like you like the stuff that smells good, so do the angels of mercy. Remember, the angels of mercy, they come and walk the earth, and if they smell good smells and they find Muslims gathered together in groups remembering Allah, they will surround you. They will beat their wings and make dua for you. You know, so you want to keep the mosque clean and sweet smelling too. So those are just some of the things that we discussed about the masjid etiquettes. What about this? Why did the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tell the Muslims to stay away from the mosque if you have onion on your breath and garlic and things like that? Why is it that you shouldn't go to the mosque when you got bad smells on you?
Because the angels won't, they don't like stinky scents.
Exactly.
Like
that runs the angels of mercy away. You know, the mosque are the houses of worship, you know, and that's where the angels like to hang out at. You know, they're not going to come to a mosque if the smell is bad and it's dirty and all of that. Okay. Also, what is one of the things that Allah gave us that he didn't give to any other nation when it comes to worship? What is it about the us praying that differs from the Christians and Jews? Allah gave
we can
us
pray anywhere. They can't.
Yeah,
We can pray anywhere on this earth.
exactly. The earth is made a place. Good job too, Brother Edward. The earth is made a place of worship for us. You know, we don't, you know, if you can't get to the mosque, you can pray right outside on the side of the road or something. The entire earth is a mosque for us. And what's the first mosque ever built? What is the first mosque ever built by mankind? It's a trivia question. What is the first mosque ever built? Nobody knows which one? Good job. Good job. The mosque in Mecca. Good job, Mina. The mosque in Mecca. And what's the second mosque built?
Oscar, the other one.
Yes, the mosque in Jerusalem. That's the second mosque ever built. And which mosque brings more reward making prayer in it? The mosque in Jerusalem or the mosque in Medina?
Elijah said the one in Medina.
Exactly. Good job. The mosque in Medina is more rewards making prayer in that than in the one in Jerusalem. Good job. So that's just a summary of what we discussed the last time we met for this class. And tonight I'm going to speak some more about the etiquettes of the mosque. Let me, I got to give myself hold on, let me give myself wait a minute. Hold on. Where's my name at? Okay. Let's try it again. Everybody look at the screen, inshallah. Okay, and share screen. Yeah, that was the quiz. Exactly. That was the quiz, Brother Timothy, from the other day. Yeah, those are the points that we covered the last time we met. Okay, well, tonight we're going to continue with some more etiquettes concerning the masajids. And let's start with the first one. And here's your hadiths, Brother Edward. Brother Edward asked me about this because Brother Edward said he can't find his wallet. And he think that he lost it in the mosque when he went to Juma because he hasn't had his wallet since he went to Juma. So he asked me, Sister Layla, what about this hadith about announcing lost objects in the mosque? Well, let's talk about that. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if you hear a man announcing in the mosque about something which he lost, tell him, may Allah never return it back to you, because the mosque were not built for this. This hadith is authentic. It's Sahih Muslim, Brother Edward. You know, we have to remember, guys, the mosque is not a place to gather and party. The mosque is not a marketplace to announce what you selling and what you lost. The mosque is a place of worship. And as Muslims, we have to respect the houses of Allah. So this is why the Prophet put these rules down. Also, selling inside the mosque. Fame? Fame?
I got it.
Okay. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you see someone buying or selling inside the mosque, tell that person, may Allah never give you any profit from this. Because again, the mosque is not for selling, it's not for buying, it's not for making announcements like that. It's a place of worship. It's not a market. It's not a mall. It's not a plaza. Now they can sell outside the mosque. If somebody wants to put up a booth outside the mosque to sell their wares, they can, but not inside the mosque. Okay? If a person wants to put up a sign outside the mosque saying, I lost my wallet, that's okay, but not inside the mosque. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade buying and selling in the mosque. He also forbade reciting poetry, which is, what is that? Singing, reciting poetry or singing in the mosque. He also especially forbade making a circle, a meeting circle. In other words, we're going to meet at the mosque right before Juma so we can talk about where we're going out to party tonight at. You don't have gatherings. You know, how many of you know Muslims that say, oh, meet me at the mosque. I'm going to get to the mosque 10 minutes early and we can meet, sit there in the musalla and figure out what we're going to do. This is haram. This is haram. The mosque is for praying. It's not for gathering to make plans and all of that stuff and singing. So what does that say about these masjids that allow the Sufis to come in? You got a masjid that has Sufis come in after Juma Khutbah with their drums and their tambourines twirling and singing and doing poetry. The kind of poetry that ridicules you, the kind of poetry that is lewd and all that, we don't do. Okay? And these are other hadiths I put here for brother. Take a screenshot of all of these hadiths, Brother Edward. I did your work for you. You brothers gonna have to start making donations for all the work I'll be doing for y'all. Okay? Let me know when you got this screenshot. Okay, you got it? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Brother Amir. Brother Amir, you can never work your cell phone. Well, I know I can't work mine either, baby. I understand. Okay, you got it? Okay. So let's move on to the next rules or etiquettes of the mosque. Let me go to this screen here so I can read because it's so small. So a lot of you ask about begging because you go to the mosque on Friday and there's always somebody in there begging for money. Well, Ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah be pleased with him, he was one of the early scholars. He said begging is forbidden, whether it's in the mosque or outside the mosque. And you guys should know that because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has forbidden us from begging unless you really are in need. Unless you really are in need of help. It's haram to beg, period. Unless you have no other alternative. Okay? And if you are in need, you don't go around bothering the people in the mosque. We sitting there waiting, reading the Quran, waiting for the imam to come out with the khutbah, and you want to come and beg and can I get a couple of dollars? Can I get a couple of dollars? Can I get a couple of dollars? We don't do that. We don't do that. You don't bother the people like that. Okay? And that brings us to another question. What about raising your voice in the mosque? Being loud, arguing, and all of that. Well, it's haram to raise your voice in a way that it disturbs the other people who may be praying. Even if you're reciting the Quran. That's why I tell you, you know how America tells you to be quiet in a library? When you go to a library, that's the rule. You have to be quiet. You can't be loud. Well, we give this type of homage to the masjid. because the masjid is the house of Allah. So even if you're sitting there reading the Quran, you don't want to be loud where you're disturbing and distracting other people. Move your tongue, but don't be all loud and showing off. Unless you're teaching. Now, if the imam is after the Fajr prayers holding a study circle, he's doing like you see Sheikh Dramali and them do. They'll, after Fajr, they'll go over verses of the Quran with the people. That's different. But just you sitting there by yourself reading loud, and this is showing off. We don't do that. Where's the dalil? Well, we have a hadith whereas the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came upon some people who were praying and they were raising their voices in their Quran recital. The Prophet said, one who is praying is in a private conversation with his Lord, so he should be mindful of whom he is talking with. And you should not raise your voices over each other when reciting the Quran. This is an authentic hadith. Also another hadith, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was doing itikaf in the mosque. And he heard some people reciting the Quran very loudly. So he removed the covering to his tent and he said, each of you are engaged in a private conversation with Allah. So you should not disturb one another. And you should not raise your voices over each other when reciting. This hadith is authentic. All of these hadiths are. And that brings us to the question that many of you ask, what about talking? Can we talk in the mosque? Well, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would not leave his place of the morning prayer until the sun had risen. And when the sun rose, he would get up and they would talk and laugh about the pre-Islamic days of ignorance, and he would smile. This hadith is Sahih Muslim. So it's not haram to talk in the mosque. I don't know where these strict rules are coming from. Who said it's haram to talk in the mosque? That's not true. And we went over the hadith the other day. When you leave the mosque, it's from the sunnah to leave with the left foot and say, in the name of Allah, O Allah, shower blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad and forgive me of my sins and open for me the doors of your blessings and protect me from shaitan. I threw that hadith in there again too. Okay, so take a screenshot of these hadiths. Okay. A lot of you ask about eating in the mosque or sleeping in the mosque. During the time of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ibn Umar says we would sleep and take naps in the mosque, and we were young men. You guys remember the people that were poor. They lived inside the mosque. A number of the companions used to sleep in the mosque. Thumama slept there before he became a Muslim. So there you go. Even before Thumama embraced Islam, remember he used to sleep inside the mosque. And all of this was during the time of the Prophet. So if the Prophet allowed a non-believer to sleep in the mosque, okay, what does that say about the rest of us? So there you go. That answers that question too, that one of the brothers asked. What about a non-believer? A mosque accommodating a non-believer? Well, there it is. Also, another hadith, Ibn al-Harith, he said, during the time of the Prophet, we would eat meat and bread in the mosque. So there you can see it's not haram to eat in the mosque either. Let me go back to those hadiths so you brothers can screenshot it. Take a screenshot. And there's the sources. You can eat, you can drink, and you can sleep. Remember that hadith of Ali. The Prophet found Ali sleeping in the mosque when he was covered in dust. And that's how he got his nickname. Oh, you the man covered in dust, because he had had an argument with Fatima. May Allah be pleased with her. And he went and slept at the mosque. Okay? All right. And yes, a non-Muslim can stay inside the mosque as well. Non-Muslim does not invalidate the mosque. I tell you guys, any questions you have about Islam, you can find them in the hadiths, because there is nothing that we are encountering today that these original companions have not already encountered. What about clasping your hands? It is disliked to clasp your hands while going to the mosque or waiting for the prayer, although it's permissible at other times. The Prophet ﷺ said, when one of you makes wudu and perfects the wudu and leaves with the intention of going to the mosque, he should not clasp his hands or his fingers, because you're considered to be in a state of prayer. What does it mean to clasp your hands? To do what y'all see me doing a lot. I do this a lot. To clasp my hands. It's a habit. Try not to do this. And can you see why? Why does it look like, why shouldn't I do this? Doesn't it look like the Christians getting ready to pray? We don't imitate the Christians. And nothing that they do. The Christians clasp their hands and sit like this, waiting for the prayer. We don't do that. We don't intertwine our fingers like that. So after you make wudu, keep your hands down and just wait for the imam to come out. Don't sit there like this. And you guys will see me doing this a lot. I mean, I clasp my hands a lot. It's a nervous habit. But don't do that at the mosque. I mean, it's not haram to do it, but it's disliked, because this is imitating the Christians. The Christians wait, to pray like this. Okay. Also, Sa'id al-Khudri says, I entered the mosque with the Prophet while a man was sitting in the middle of the mosque with his fingers intertwined. He was like this. The Prophet motioned to him, but the man didn't understand him. So the Prophet said, if you are in the mosque, you should not intertwine your fingers, because intertwining of the fingers is from Shaitan. And you are in the prayer while you are in the mosque until you leave it. So don't do this, guys. Don't be doing this stuff. Don't do this. Y'all see me? I'm intertwining my fingers. Don't do that. Just sit there and patiently wait for the imam to come out. Okay? And also, it is allowed for the imam or the one who is offering prayer by himself to pray between two walls. Even the Prophet ﷺ entered the Kaaba and prayed between two walls. Also, Ibn Jabir and Ibrahim Ataymi and Suwaid ibn Gufla, they led the people in prayer while they were between two columns. It is disliked for the people to pray between them if they have enough room, because it would cut the road. But they may do so if they have no choice. So if you at a mosque and there's like you praying in the Prophet's mosque, you have no choice but to pray between the two pillars, then there's nothing wrong with that. As Anas said, we were forbidden to offer prayer between walls, and we would keep others from it if it was going to cut the road. But if we have no choice, then we would do it. And there's another hadith saying the same. Okay, take screenshots of these hadiths. Okay, so those are all the hadiths that address the etiquettes of the mosque. And just don't sit there doing this, playing with your hands and intertwining the fingers. This is imitating the Christians. This fiddling with your hands. You're in a state of prayer. You're getting the rewards of praying as you sit there waiting for the imam. So don't do all this as you see me do. I do it a lot on my website because it's a nervous habit. when I'm waiting on you guys. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. When I trying to get my thoughts together on what to say, you will find me doing this. This is how. But if I'm at the mosque, none of that. You just sit there and wait. Okay.